Welcome on in, everybody, to yet another episode of Arches. So, last episode we met up with Arturo, and we are now in front of the motel. Super excited for this. I cannot wait to get into it. So, let's begin. Time passes quickly, and bantering with Artie and Devin had made Cameron forget what he was trying to do in the first place. He wonders if maybe that had been Devin's goal. He should be keeping his mind open, not covering up potential spirits with loud, obnoxious laughs as they reminisce about their college days. Because right now he's feeling something strange that he can't explain. Wait. Hold on. Hold the fuck up. Oh my god, something is in the window. What the shit? Holy shit. I didn't even realize. What in the... What is that? It looks like it looks like wood, or it looks like a really like old and tattered suit. What the shit, dude? I wouldn't have even recognized that until you pointed that out. That is some Doki Doki Literature Club bullshit right there, dude. Holy shit. Alright, ready to head out? Man, we didn't even find anything scary. You don't look for scary things, you let them happen, and nothing happened, so... Cameron can't leave now. Yeah, dude. I think that we should probably get the hell out of there. Hey, Dev, please don't be mad at me. Dev doesn't say anything, and that makes Cameron squirm. Oh, you guys gonna fight again? Can I have 5 minutes alone, please? No. Just 5 minutes, I swear, and we'll be done. Cameron! I can feel something. I don't know what, but you guys are making it hard to hear. Cameron, the motel is right there. I'm not leaving you here. Deb's tone is so resolute, so unshaken that Cameron shrieks into himself, realizing he reached Deb's limit. Artie clears his throat. Not to butt in, but how about this? Me and Dev stand at the end of the road over there so we can see you. Then we can make sure nothing bad happens. Please, Dev, I just really need to figure something out, and it's gonna bother me forever if I don't. Please? Dev is clearly taken aback by Cameron's intensity, which had been Cameron's intention. Something is wrong and he needs to confirm it. Is what you're doing safe? Could it hurt you? I don't know. I don't think so. It has more to do with me than ghosts, though. Dev doesn't say anything for a few seconds, seeming to be weighing multiple scenarios in his head. Okay, we'll be up the road. Please be careful and yell if you need us. Okay, thank you. Dev kisses Cameron on the head for a long moment before walking away up the road. Artie looks back and forth, confused before following Dev. Alone now, Cameron can tell something is definitely different. He can't put his finger on it, but it's not him just being residually high. It's almost like he can see more clearly, like he can see more. Meaning in nothing. Cameron isn't sure what to think about this. The weed is making it happen, though, just like he hoped it would. But it's weak. He can hear the voices of those who passed just barely playing along in the wind. For just a fraction of a second, he thinks of trying opioids just once more, and how that would truly help him see things. The thought leaves him physically repulsed to the point that he almost retches, the visceral reaction surprising even in him. 3 years of substance abuse, the death of his mother, and the death of his friends. He vividly remembers those 2 weeks when he quit the cold turkey. Hiding away in his friend's basement in a pool of sweat, shaking, having every bathroom issue possible, wanting to rip through his fur and skin to run to the street, to run into a car. He cried constantly. He hated himself. He was worthless. He needed to die. He had to die. But at the end of those 2 weeks, he'd made it. It was hard, but his friends would always tell him, withdrawals aren't the hard part. The hard part is finding pills in a friend or relative's medicine cabinets months, even years later. The hard part is crushing those pills up in neat little lines of powder, staring at them, telling yourself you don't need it. You don't have to do it, but you do it. You always do it, no matter how many times you get clean. Someone like Cameron needed something else to keep him clean, and that's Devin, because the shame and heartache of Devin finding out he wouldn't ever be worth it. But knowing this moment, any moment can be far better with a single pill. Unfortunately, that feeling will always be there. So no, This is stupid, and he won't touch drugs again, not even weed. The window. Okay. At first, Cameron is only surprised. This is something he hadn't seen in months, not since October of last year. Still, he kind of hoped this would happen. This creature, this manifestation, is somehow connected to his abilities. What in the hell is this thing? There's definitely a hand here. He'd always thought it to be a mental illness, but now that he knows there's something more to all this, maybe it's a sign, a harbinger of sorts that might lead him to important visions. Still, something about this is especially unsettling this time. Something's wrong. Something is different, and it's more than just the raincoat monster approaching. Arches and half circles. His train of thought cuts off as he notices a barely discernible movement from the creature. Aside from a handful of moments in the past that felt like glitches more than anything else, the creature never moved. It was always like a cardboard cutout. It's no longer cardboard, though. It's breathing! What's happening? He's not thinking right. This thing isn't a part of Echo. Cameron knows that. So why is it acting different, more live, as if the town is amplifying to it? Maybe it's just the setting, his nerves, the weed, but now he's realizing how strange it is that he's so relieved to find out he's psychic. Honestly, I do believe in ghosts. I have heard stories from a couple of family members that have witnessed that. Like, real quick before we continue, so I had a family member go to this house, right? They rented this Airbnb, and at night they would hear someone walking. Like, they would hear someone walking upstairs, and so they would go and check it out, and there would be nobody up. And one night, I think all but one of my family members, they were alone in the house, and they heard walking up the stairs again. So they thought that someone broke in the house, and so they went to go investigate, and there was just nobody there. So, rightfully so, they end up calling the parents, and then they call the cops, and they check it out too, and there's absolutely nobody in the house. They check everything, and there's no one. For me, I do believe in ghosts. They are a real thing. Doesn't he still have problems? It's not like all of those issues were just solved. Are those voices of the dead or something else? Are those ghosts or hallucinations? Is there a difference? Suddenly, a whole new wave of anxiety washes over the canine. Just like that, he's not sure about anything anymore. He had such a beautiful, life-changing epiphany, and now he looks up the road toward where Dev and Artie are, but they're not there, and Cameron stares, wondering what's real anymore. He looks back at the monster standing in that window. If it is a harbinger for something important, he should go into that room. No! Otherwise, he'll leave here knowing he's crazy, knowing he's on the verge of a fucking psychotic break. Oh, damn it, what am I doing? And then he's moving for the window for that monster, the whispers growing and the distortions twisting. Why? Why are we going into that room? Why are we going into the hidden haunted fucking room where a monster is? Devin watches his boyfriend in the distance carefully, feeling his anxiety come down a bit as Cameron seems to stand there. So, what's the deal, man? Huh? You know what I'm talking about. What happened? Did he see some fucked up shit earlier? Because you seem really, really worried. For a moment, Devin is glad Artie cuts himself up, but then... Hey! What the fuck? Ah! Artie is already running up the road towards his car. Devin looks and sees a man standing next to the car, the hood up. Devin isn't sure what to do at first, either to go to Cameron or to follow Artie. Cameron seems oblivious in the distance, which is probably for the best, and it doesn't look like the man is carrying any sort of weapon, so deciding his friend is going to need help, he runs after Artie. Dev runs up to the car just as the old weasel... Oh my god, it's Duke. Oh fuck, son of a bitch! Artie stumbles and falls on his ass. Hey! Oh my god, it is him! The weasel regards him coolly, seemingly not bothered by the fact that he just used his own face as a battering ram. Hey. Dev doesn't know what to say, mostly because he doesn't know why the guy just did what he did. Meanwhile, Artie moans on the ground, a paw to his forehead. That at least gives Dev a starting point. You can't just fucking do that, man! What are you doing? Adjusting things. He shows off a pair of pliers. Devin can hear his heart pounding in his ears as he sees a toolbox balanced on the bumper. Why? Give me the... Devon starts to step forward to take the pliers from the man, but a flash of light blinds him. Yep, he swung first, beat his ass. Devon never been hit before, not as an adult at least. His size usually deterred anyone from trying anything, and he normally doesn't get into those kinds of situations anyway. So this moment takes what it feels like a long time before his brain begins to process. He stumbles on his feet, paws uselessly outstretched trying to refocus when something explodes in his stomach that seems to expand like a balloon under his ribcage. The bear doubles over in shock, feeling like a vacuum that has opened up his torso before he falls to his knees. Ugh. The long strained sound of agony seems to go on forever as his diaphragm refuses to work. Only now does he realize he's been punched in the stomach as well, and while he's had the wind knocked out of him before, it's nothing like this. How was that, fat ass? Dev goes on drowning in response, a small part of him considering that he might actually suffocate to death. Holy hell, man, what the fuck is your problem? Oh, you wanna know? Devon, still with his face toward the ground, only hears movement above him, but that's followed by a gasp from Artie. Oh shit! I have a problem with sick fucks like you two dicking around this place because you think it's funny. Dev is only now starting to get his breath back, but his eyes are locked into the gun with his face, and his insides turn to water, which has nothing to do with the punch. Where were you 5 years ago, huh? Back home with mommy and daddy living in your middle-class houses? Thought you'd come out and see what the crazy meth heads are up to? How they all killed each other? The man adjusts his grip on the gun, and Dev almost chokes with fear. Either the old man is going to shoot him or he's going to do it on accident. Is it still fun? Artie's rough breathing next to Devon is the only thing that lets the bear know but that the cat is still there with him. Dude, listen, we didn't mean... You listen, dude! I gave you assholes a whole fucking day to get that fuck out, but you're still here. Since you're so goddamn comfortable, hope you don't mind being stuck here for good. With that, the man turns away, sticking his gun down his pants before calmly collecting his tools, closing the toolbox and walking off the road straight through the sagebrush. That's who we were seeing! That's right, because Duke is the one with the shotgun, not Brian. Brian doesn't have a gun. Holy shit! 7-mile walk to the freeway. I suggest you leave the moment it gets cool. That's friendly advice. It's much worse out here than me, stupid fucks. Artie bends over Devon, who slowly stumbles to his feet, hunched over. His stomach is aching worse than his muzzle, which he wipes clean of blood. Fuck, man, what'd he do? Artie looks back to the car, and even from here, Dev can see the wiring sticking out from the hood. I can't fucking believe this! Hang on, I'm getting Cam. Alright, man, I'll see if this thing is even worth coming back for. Devon jogs up to the road, grunting with each step, each one sending a jolt to his stomach. While the weasel hasn't moved in its direction, Dev isn't taking chances. He also needs to make sure the coyotes... Oh shit, that thing isn't there anymore. Cameron? He shouldn't be panicking, and not yet, but that feeling is starting up again, and after having a gun pointed at his face... Cameron! There's no answer. Dev heaves for air looking around until he sees a flash of flannel through a motel window. He's next to it in a second, unable to fit, so he pries boards with his bare paws. Then he pushes through and tumbles into the thick darkness. Oh god. Oh, despite having seen this monster in some sort of form or another for over 15 years now, Cameron realizes he's never really tried to move towards it. In the beginning, he tried to run away, of course, but it ended up following him. It never moved when he was looking at it, but the second he looked away and back again, it would reappear closer, usually at 20 to 30 foot distance. When he learned to ignore it, it just sort of blended into the background and he almost stopped noticing it. As Cameron squeezes through the boards covering the window, he's only a few feet away from the thing. He realizes if he makes contact with it, that if it's solid then he won't know what to think. He never even considered that it might be real. But now, as those unnaturally long claws dangle from the sleeves of the raincoat, Cameron starts to worry. As he moves those last few feet, though, the raincoat monster starts to dissolve into the dim lighting of the room, and the coyotes inside. It happens in a way that makes Cameron think of a mirage. Oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all, but the creature's still here and now across the room, against the wall. Its ever-present deranged grin plastered on his dark furred face. Cameron moves towards it again, slowly this time. The creature is still seemingly frozen, but in a way a real person would try to appear frozen. This creature is almost like an imitation of the one he's gotten to know so well, the one that almost became a companion of sorts in his childhood. About halfway across the dark, cluttered motel room, the raincoat monster bends sideways, almost like it's going to do a cartwheel towards the bathroom door. Its heavily clawed hands don't move though, and instead it just keeps bending like a bridge, like an arch. And then it slips into the darkness of the bathroom. Cameron stares, the feeling of unease growing. Of course, shit like this always makes him feel uneasy, and it makes him feel fucking crazy. But what just happened now? It felt deliberate, like he's being toyed with somehow. Raincoat Monster had toyed with him plenty of times before, especially the first time he saw it. Is this like some Among the Sleep type of shit right now? Is that what we're seeing? It was his own mind doing it, after all. But what makes him feel nervous now is that there's something else behind it. Almost like whatever was behind the first vision of that other motel room is behind this as well. So he should leave, right? Whatever that is doesn't seem to have very good intentions. All it seems to want to do is to fuck with them. It's if the same thing that hijacked his first vision, then it could look like anything. It disguised itself as Dev and said awful things to him. Disguised itself. Was that even a disguise? Is it possible Devon somehow made that call? That would be the most plausible explanation, aside from malicious ghosts being real, something he never believed until now. He trusts Dev, though. Cameron looks at the boarded window. Why did Artie and Devon abandon him like this? Yeah, let's not. Let's not keel over and go see fucking monsters in the dark, thank you. Is this part of Devon's investigation still? Is this a setup of some kind, like a test? Cameron continues to just stand in the middle of the motel room, staring around himself. This isn't right. He's not making sense. These thoughts don't make sense. But there are some connections, and he can't deny that something about this whole situation is off. The voices, the whispering, it continues to ebb and flow, and there's a slight electronic quality to it. It's not impossible that someone could have planted a speaker in this room to make him think he's hearing the voices of ghosts. After all, Devon had been so adamant that he had not come back to the motel with him to gather his equipment. That would have been the perfect opportunity. He tries to listen to them, but they blend together and mumble quietly, and he can't make anything out. If this is a setup, then Raincoat Monster could be a real person. Someone in a costume, or something is wrong. Suddenly thinking to himself is becoming difficult. He's still high after all, but at the same time things are suddenly making at least some sort of sense. If this is some kind of sick joke, that could explain a lot. A distant chuckle breaks through the hushed whispers. It sounds kind of like Devon. Devon? Cameron points his ears towards the bathroom. Artie? Guys? You can't really be doing this to me, right? His voice is weak, unsure, and afraid. Something creaks to his left, and the coyote jumps, staring wide-eyed. Guys? In the back of his mind, Cameron knows that whatever this is, whatever's going on inside or outside his mind, it's not good. He needs to get out. Suddenly, something starts pulling at the boards of the window. Okay, that's Dev, right? Cameron gasps, stumbling back, an explosion of fear taken over in a way that he's never experienced before. Cameron? You're in there, right? You okay? It looks like Devon, but the coyote's moving for the bathroom because he's not completely sure. And even if that really is Dev. Cameron pulls the door to the bathroom closed and fumbles with the knob until he finds and presses a push luck that somehow still works. Cameron? Honey, are you in there? Cameron keeps quiet, pressing his mouth to his puzzle, suppressing his instinctual urge to respond. Cameron? Cameron listens to the bear's heavy footsteps on the ruined floor. Then the doorknob to the bathroom vibrates violently. Cameron yelps. Stop! I'm sorry, I just need to figure things out right now. There's a pause, one that seems to go on for a very, very long time. What? Devon's voice is equal parts confused and concerned. Baby, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What happened? I don't know. Why did you guys leave me? Leave you? I'm right here. Looked up the road and you were just gone. Oh, Cameron, something happened. It's a little complicated, but I can tell you about it on the way out. I'm sorry. I left when I said I'd watch you, but we need to go right now. Something happened. It's a little complicated. Cameron, please open the door. Devin lets out a nervous laugh. You're freaking me the fuck out right now, honey. That only puts Cameron more on edge, that Devin thinks he's the one that's acting strange. You're freaking me the fuck out! Why did you even bring me here? Is Artie there too? Another long, horrible pause. Dev talks again, his tone has changed completely, like he's being very careful with his words. Like Cameron is crazy. Honey, can you tell me what's wrong? Did something happen? You tell me, Devin. You're really starting to worry me, baby. Devin's voice cracks. And Cameron doesn't know what to say. He doesn't have time to think of what to say because at that point something breaks painfully down his back. It's like a giant set of claws, and Cameron gasps and screams as another set of claws grip over the top of his head. He completely forgot about the raincoat monster, but even if he remembered, he thought that it could touch him. Cameron? Open the door! Open! God damn it! Stand back, Cam! The air seems to explode as the flimsy motel bathroom door splinters with ease, Dev having kicked it in. With some light filling the bathroom now, Cameron sees that he's fighting with nothing. He thought it had to be Artie. Suddenly the bear is grabbing him, trying to hold him or pin him, and Cameron just struggles, trying to pull away. Cameron, what happened? Please calm down. Just let me go. Cameron is crying now, and it's making him gasp for air. Let's breathe, Cam. No, stop doing this to me. Just let me go. Doing what to you? What happened? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Cameron's struggles become more wild, kicking out and fighting with Dev's much stronger grip. What the fuck? Dev seems to say it to himself almost in a whisper, as if unable to believe what's happening. Cameron isn't able to either. None of this is real, is it? Huh? Did you set this up to make me believe or something? What? How could I do that? Speakers or costumes? I don't know. Ow! You're hurting me! Devin lets Cameron go finally, though he tries to hold on to him to make him look at the bear. But Cameron takes the opportunity to escape, running right for the window, much easier to get through Dev's entry. Cameron! I'm sorry, I just need to think. Cameron can hear Devin crying now, but he can't stop. He needs to get out, and he needs to get away. Dude, they're definitely going through something. This is tearing them apart. He falls clumsily through the window as he stands up, and he gasps as he comes to face with Artie. Suddenly, he notices how similar the color of his fur is to the raincoat monster. Whoa, dude, you okay? What's going on? I can hear you guys yelling all the way. Artie trails off as Cameron backs away from the cat, keeping him in view until he can run away, up the road to somewhere that's not here. Oh shit, dude, we gotta go after him. Plain and simple, we gotta go. Dev sobs as he fumbles to get out the window, wondering if he's dreaming. This can't be happening. He looks around the parking lot, but all he sees is Artie. Where did he go? Artie points wordlessly, and Devin jogs up to the length of the parking lot to look around the motel. Cameron is nowhere in sight. Devin stares for a while, hoping to see Cameron pop out from behind one of those dilapidated structures, but he doesn't. Devin, what happened? Something's wrong with Cameron. I know, he looked totally freaked out. Did that meth head get to him too or something? No, I don't know, he's not making sense. He's not thinking right. What do you mean? Devin takes a deep, shuddering breath, still staring, realizing that Cam might have already made it to the dirt road off of Main Street. Devin rubs his face vigorously with both paws. He said something about us setting him up. Setting him up? For what? I don't know, it's like he's not in his right state of mind or something. Devin stops himself from stating completely lost it, because that just sounds wrong. Seeing no sign of Cameron, Devin suddenly feels panic bloom in his chest. What if Cameron is so far gone that he's gone running off into the desert? He would die. Ah, shit, are you sure he ran this way? Dev starts walking quickly up the road, looking at each abandoned structure, scanning the desert landscape all the while. His panic has settled into a dull, persistent feeling of dread, and his crying is mostly under control, just sniffing every now and then. Artie follows behind him. Yeah, positive, man. He was running, though. Shit. Hey, he
He just looked really emotional. Doesn't he have panic attacks? Yeah, but that wasn't just a panic attack. Something else is going on. Has he done this before? No. Isn't he on medication? No, man, he's not on medication. But wasn't he? Dude, this isn't helping anything right now. Sorry, it's just I remember him telling me he was on an antipsychotic back in college. Devin's blood runs cold. Think it was just like antidepressants or something? Why why would he even tell you? Cameron? Deb's voice echoes hollowly up the street unanswered. It was on both, I'm pretty sure. He was talking to Maria about it since she's been on a bunch of them for her bipolar disorder. I think he was just looking for advice on how to deal with the side effects, and I was just a psych major, so there's that. Were you? Cameron! Duh. I failed a step major. Behavioral sciences are the next step. Despite being something Artie might normally say, it sounds forced, like he's trying to keep the mood light. All Devin can think about right now is how he couldn't have even been bothered to know what medications his boyfriend was taking and why. He just knew they made him feel like shit. So when Cameron said he just wanted to stop whatever it is he was taking, Devin encouraged him, and Cameron seemed happier after that. Anyway, I'm not saying like he's schizophrenic. Antipsychotics can be combined with antidepressants for just plain old depression sometimes. I think he's just panicking a little. I probably would if I went into that motel alone. No. Cameron was panicking, sure, but he was accusing Devin of setting him up, of tricking him. Cameron didn't trust him, and that's something Devin has never seen before. And remember, with this tolerance, he's probably still pretty high. Could just be paranoid. Devin gasps as Arturo stares at him frozen. Then rage and horror explodes in Devin's chest. The fucking weed! Whoa, what happened? You fucking know he has problems, was on medication in college, and you just let him get stoned? Artie stares. Well, I didn't remember until just now, and besides, if that's what's making him freak out, it's gonna wear off. No! He said I was tricking him! He didn't trust me, Artie. He said I was planting fucking speakers so he'd hear voices. Artie continues to stare, but he doesn't say anything at this time. Devin does his best to avoid saying what he thinks is happening. That's not just panic, that's more than just that. Oh, fuck, man. His mom died because of this shit. What if he's wandering off into the middle of the desert right now and... When he had researched psychosis, he came across plenty of stories just like this. The way so many of them ended. Devin feels like he's about to throw up. After a few seconds of silence, Artie clears his throat. Listen, we don't know anything yet, but if I cause this to happen, I'm sorry. Either way, I'm gonna help you find your man, okay? It's only been 5 minutes. Devin starts to calm down a bit, breathing more evenly. Like I said, my girlfriend is bipolar, and even though I know it's not exactly the same, she's had moments like this too, and we always come out alright. So how about we look for 20, maybe 30 minutes? I'm sure we'll find him. If we don't though, I'm gonna run my ass back up the road till I get cell service and call 911, alright? Dev takes a shuddering breath. Yeah, okay, let's go. Yeah, dude, we gotta find him. There's no way. Cameron shakes his head back and forth, unwilling to believe that Dev, his boyfriend, the person he loves the most, would do this to him. But why? Devin is the only one that wants to leave, that wants to protect him from this nightmarish town. How could this help at all, making all the ghosts up? Devin truly wants to understand what happened to Lupita where she is. Nowhere. So he'd want Cameron's visions to be true. Unless it's both. He couldn't have been involved in the vision he had by the lake, right? Or what he heard in the forest. Those are real. Cameron feels it deep down that they had to have been real. He couldn't have made that up recounted of the forest creature or the girl being murdered. Maybe Devin was worried Cameron would give up if he didn't see anything and wanted to make sure by hanging himself in the closet, creating one of the worst moments in Cameron's life. Devin would never do that. He would never think to do that. As he's thinking this, something flickers in Cameron's vision. It's hard to describe, but there's a vividness to what he's seeing. And then the lighting begins to change, just like it did next to the lake. The coyote stops, rigid and apprehensive, not really interested in having visions at the moment. He doesn't have a say in the matter, though. Yep, here we go. This time, the lighting takes on such a surreal, ominous blood-red glow that even though Cameron thought he was prepared. He definitely isn't. He stands in the unnatural light, feeling a bit sick, but then realizes he's actually someone else, just like when he saw the girl's life end. But he seems to snap into his host, and looks down at the body of a creature he can't quite make out. This person he's become breathes heavily, doubled over, his giant paws on his knees, feeling sick. He'd never killed someone before. This little fag deserved it Whoa! He spits on the body, then suddenly realizes he needs to get rid of it. As far as he knows, no one knows that he's here, all the way from Payton, as if he can get rid of the body, no one will ever know he did it. He prepares himself, finding it easier and easier to come to terms with the murder. The thrill he got from it, the swooping feeling in his chest that immediately made his... It's a bit worrying even to him. With a deep breath he leans down, but then suddenly feels like he's being watched. Slowly he looks up. What? Is that a spaceship? It hovers over the road, watching him. Didn't Brian say that he saw this back in Leo's route? He's seen a handful of UFOs, all of them while he was an Echo. He come to realize that we're probably seeing this through Brian's eyes right now. Yeah, we're probably seeing this through his eyes right now. He'd come to realize that it wasn't aliens or whatever the fuck people believed in. It was supernatural or something, like a ghost. He suddenly thinks back to last week when that space shuttle blew up while his class watched it on TV. He'd been the only one to laugh when it happened. Not really because it was funny, because it was so unexpected, and so boring up until that point. To him, that's the only way space could be haunted with ghosts. But for some reason, he doesn't think anything living, or at least anything that was living, is involved in this. What he realizes is that in those crafts, made of metal, glass, and covered in lights, are empty. As far as he's concerned, they're no different from the ghosts. Ghosts that weren't people at all. The hollow shells only to feed on the sick feeling he got when he'd seen them, only there to watch him so the smaller amount of guilt he had might grow just a bit bigger. And tonight, aliens would visit him, to torture him, to violate him. Not really aliens, but the same thing as ghosts that people see in this town. It's all the same. So he ignores it and he gets to work, and it hovers over his head, even as he feels its red eyes on the back of its neck. Sheesh. Oh, you're right, there are arches in the road. Look, you see that? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6. Yeah, there's a bajillion arches in the road. Holy crap. Wait. I've never noticed that. Holy shit, dude. How? How? There is no fucking way. That is some great symbolism right there, dude. Holy crap. Cameron isn't sure what to think right now. A UFO? What? Well, the shadow creature in the forest had been strange. He hadn't seen it. He only heard someone recounting it. Cameron assumed that man in the vision wasn't in his right mind. Maybe he misinterpreted what he was experiencing. But this, a full-blown craft in the sky above a dead body. Now Cameron is almost positive he'd been toyed with, like Raincoat Monster in the motel room. It just makes him feel like he's going crazy, and it reminds him that for some inexplicable reason he thought Dev might be on it. How did he even consider Dev could be involved in this? Besides, even now, despite it being almost completely silent from the crunch of his footsteps on the gravel road, the voices are insistent, even louder, and how would he hide the speakers out here in the middle of nowhere? Now that he's focusing on those voices, he can actually start making out some words, sentence fragments. Singing, they sang. Sins of cities are always. You piece of shit, stop doing. Every time he catches a new voice, it fades away before it finishes what it's saying. Cameron stops so he can hear better. His ears are up. But the voices fade back to barely noticeable whispers in the wind. Cameron remembers that those ghost hunting shows that he'd watched a few times, the way they were always trying to communicate. So he clears his throat awkwardly. Um, hello? Are you trying to talk to me? Do you have something you'd like to say? Cameron isn't even sure he should be saying you because the voices are such a mixture of many. But why would they all congregate on this one dirt road? Either way, they seem to have moved on, so Cameron starts walking again. It's something we should see. You think you're special, stupid shit. Again, Cameron stops, and so do the voices. Hello? There's silence. The words don't even really make sense. If the ghosts are trying to talk to him, why would they say something useful? Wouldn't they see something useful? Maybe they just don't like him. And if it's a replaying of something in the past, why are they just babbling nonsense? Cameron sighs and takes a step. You stupid. The coyote freezes, suddenly making a connection. He looks down at his foot, then brushes it back and forth over the gravel. Stupid sack of shit. Cameron stares. It's coming from the gravel, from the sounds of it anyway. A gentle wind tickles over the fur of his ears and whispers continue. Whoa! Suddenly, he's back in his trailer with his mother. He's laying on the couch, nodding after snorting his pills. His mother, on the other side of the trailer, is kneeling amongst the trash. She'd always been meticulously clean, emphasizing that while they might live in a trailer, they can still make it look nice. But over the past year, she seemed to care less and less now. Dishes were used and never cleaned, boxes of takeout opened and left where they were eaten. Cameron himself couldn't be bothered to tidy up. It's easier now that his mom doesn't give a fuck. He can do drugs right in front of her now. The post-it notes and strips of fabric tied to every arch his mother spotted, even to things Cameron is pretty sure aren't arches, made this place look like a disaster anyway. What does bother him though as he watches her through half-lidded eyes is the way that she looks. Her fur is disheveled and sticking up in different places, and she's been in the same clothes she's been in for a week. She started to have a strange odor to her, but Cameron felt too weird telling his own mom she smelled bad. It's sad. He almost wishes she'd scream at him and slap him like she did whenever she found his drugs. Almost. Because right now he feels so good and she seems happy enough to listen to that fan. I don't think... I don't know about that, dude. Cameron covers his muzzle, his heart is pounding listening to the whispering wind. No, no. His eyes blur with tears. He turns around because he's worried someone might be watching him and his feet scrape the gravel. Sadness seems to always... Cameron covers his ears, feeling the now familiar rising tide of panic in his chest. He's going crazy. Just like his mother, he's losing his mind. But his mother changed over the course of months. This is so sudden. He's never heard voices before. Or has he? The hallucination he had of Devon hanging, that was a voice. But that could have been a dream too. Now Cameron's breathing is really starting to get out of control and he wants to run back to Devon and apologize, just so they can hold each other again. Of course Devon wouldn't want to fuck him over with this, and Cameron can't understand why he thought that. It seemed like a possibility just 5 minutes ago, but something holds him from running back now, and that's because if he's crazy, he doesn't want Dev to see it. Sure, he'd had a few nervous breakdowns and panic attacks in the first few years of their relationship, but that's normal crazy. This is actually crazy. It's psychotic. And while Dev would hold him, comfort him, take him away from this place, who's to say what would happen after that? Behind his outgoing nature and warm smile, Dev would be doubting their relationship. He already is. He'd been worn down by Cameron's deteriorating mental state, as his deteriorating hygiene, the deterioration of the man he once knew as the spiral into delusion deepens. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not Mom. No, but you're her son. That voice, the one that comes from inside his head. The one that doesn't feel like his inner voice. The one that won't shut the fuck up. Cameron is walking back the way he came, back towards Devon, toward what he knows is real and safe. But is he? Yes. Even though he's scared, he says it confidently, and strangely enough, he feels what seems like a pause on the voice's end. Like it's not quite sure how to respond. Good. Cameron thinks, this time with his own thoughts. He makes sure to walk on the side of the road, the dusty, somewhat rocky surface preferable to the whispering gravel. Yeah, dude, this is kind of sad. Devin keeps trying to figure out how things could have gotten so wrong. His feelings earlier about an impending catastrophic failure now feel fully validated. It's happened. He took those courses emphasizing engineering ethics. He studied cases in which every step of a disaster was detailed and exactly how each step was preventable. Wait. Oh my god, you're right. This, this game really fucks with you, and it's starting to show really well. He took great care in his career to make sure that he would never become one of those case studies, that the machines that he helped design were as safe as possible. And while he already thought of this, it's the fact that he didn't even know it, that Cameron was on an antipsychotic at some point, just that he was on meds. He knew Cameron's problems were concerning, and he reassured himself with the crash course out of normal psychology. Psychology. While he was never as openly disdainful as his peers, the idea of trying to explain complex behavior through endless theories was frustrating to say the least. He chalked it up to him being one of those people who simply needed a solid answer, a number. But he also remembers those months where Cameron was on his medication, how one night he'd had Dev sit with him as in the arts building on campus. It was so late and no one was around as Cameron almost angrily bashed onto the keys on the grand piano, asking him if any of it sounded good. Dev said it sounded fine. Then the coyote finally broke down, saying he couldn't write music anymore. That emotionally, things had become black and white. There was a wall between him and who he was. That the medicine he was taking was the reason why he fucked up his chance with the label. And as Cameron sobbed over the piano, Devin had decided that psychology doesn't know a thing about how people work. That psychiatrists may as well be drug dealers with an office. It had been the same for his mother after what happened with Lupita. Even now she struggles with her addiction to benzodiazepines. I hope I'm saying that right. Something carelessly prescribed to her so that she'd stop wailing all the time. To Devin, it seemed like psychology never moved past lobotomies. Instead, they just converted it into pills. And he never really changed that mindset, and it's why he never encouraged Cameron to seek some sort of help, especially if he didn't want it. What he took away from his research is that hallucinations of any kind are a serious concern and should never be brushed off. But he had just done that with the idea that maybe there's more to hallucinations for some people than psychology will ever understand. Maybe it's ghosts. Devin wants to hit himself. In fact, he wishes the Weasel Man had added a kick in the nuts to go with the gut punch. Something else to help remind him how utterly stupid he is. The concept of the paranormal is so far from his mind at this point that he doubts he'll ever dabble in it again. See? There he is, dude! Devin looks up and sure enough, he sees Cameron running toward them. The smile of relief on the coyote's face seems to break the dam of emotion in Deb's chest. That wild look he had earlier, the one that looked at him as if he were a stranger, is gone. The next thing he knows, he's running too. He wonders why Cam is running on the rough rocks and thorny vegetation, but Devin joins him and Cameron runs into his chest with a thump. I'm sorry, I don't know where the hell I was. Stop, you're fine. That's all I care about. You're fine. I don't know if I am. You are. Here and you're fine, and we're gonna go home, okay? Yeah. Careful. Devin rocking them back and forth on the uneven rocky road sends him into the dirt, but Devin pulls Cameron into his lap, still hugging him tightly. Meanwhile, Artie is looking away, seeming to have spotted something very interesting in the miniature forest just off the road, though he's smiling. I see what Dev was thinking of, but telling Cam to stop taking them was still... Yeah. Cam at least needed some help. In some form or manner, he needed help. I'm so sorry for bringing you here. I don't know what else to say. I'm just sorry. No, it's my fault for thinking I was special, that I had superpowers or something. None of this is your fault, okay? Cameron stays quiet and Devin is content to just hold the coyote, both of them sniffing. Meanwhile, the coyote plucks at the sagebrush that's rubbing up against him, which he holds his nose. You know how I hate the desert? Devin tries to adjust to the jarring shift in conversation, but goes along with it, assuming Cameron just wants to focus on other things for now. I'm starting to hate it too, actually. Cameron inhales the sprig of sagebrush in his paw again. Well, I love the smell of sagebrush, the way the whole desert smells like it. I suppose it's alright. There's something about it that reminds me of Christmas. That's weird coming from a guy who grew up surrounded by pine forests. Like when we went up to my dad's cabin. Now that's a smell I can get behind. I guess I got too used to it, and sagebrush is just different. Desert version of pine forests. Pines can grow in the desert. Then I mean the ones in the northwest. We should go to your dad's cabin again. That was fun. Oh, really? I thought you didn't like it. In all honesty, Dev hadn't either. He had mentioned to Cameron ice fishing like his father had taken him so many times. The second they got there, though, he realized how woefully underprepared he was. I complain too much, but we should go in the summer so we don't have to dig through 4 feet of snow just to open the cabin. Dev almost laughs at the memory of being so exhausted by the time he opened the cabin that his plans to romantically make love to Cameron went out the window the second they got in bed. Yeah, I'll ask my dad about it when we get back. I just want to be somewhere with you, away from this. Yeah, far away from this. Dev, I don't think I'm actually psychic. I hallucinated a UFO a little bit ago. That's not real. Oh, you just saw one? Yeah, well, in my mind I was someone else. I saw a dead body, and I saw a spacecraft in the sky, and it didn't make sense. I see. Well, you won't have to worry about that anymore once we're out of here. I really, really hope we won't. Dev isn't going to ask him to elaborate, or tell him that UFOs are commonly reported in Echo. Especially in the times when supernatural activity is at its peak. While he wants to convince Cameron he isn't mentally ill, he knows that's not what he should be doing right now. Even though he wants to deny it, he doesn't know if it's true or not. He believes Cameron is psychic, but that's taking a backseat to the possibility that something else is happening too, and Dev can't be the one to figure that out for Cameron. He can only be there to support him. Oh shit, I think Artie's in the forest! Huh? Sure enough, Artie's disappeared. Oh yeah, well, he'll be alright. We'll just call for him. Not a really big forest anyway. Dev, that's where the shotgun guy is! Oh fuck, I forgot. Dev stares at the tree line hopefully. Dev, we have to get him. Well, he shouldn't be far in it at all. Anyway, we can warn him real quick, but let's keep our voices down. They get up and move towards the forest. Dev wants to tell Cameron to wait on the road, but at the same time he's worried about losing him right again after finding him. Yep, spooky forest time! Somehow, the seemingly innocuous path of trees is even more ominous during the day. Artie? Dev whispers loudly into the trees, holding Cameron's paw as they descend into the ditch over to the forest side. They only take a few steps into the trees before Artie calls back. Yo, just taking a whiz. Figure you guys wouldn't want me staring. Dude, shut up! Dev continues to shout whisper. What's up? Devin can see movement from Artie now, some of the bushes about 10 feet about from them shifting. This is where the shotgun hick yelled at us. Oh, well, I'm almost done anyway. Oh, wait, is he taking a piss? Dev sighs and notices Cameron with his ears low, looking anxious. You alright, baby? Do you hear, like, radio static? It's really loud. Dev listens, but only hears some wind through the trees. I think it's just the leaves, honey. But then there is something. Maybe what could be described as static. Actually, Jesus! He jumps as his phone's notification sound goes off. Well, I definitely heard that. I do think it's just the wind, but I'm hearing it too. He takes his phone out, seeing that email managed to get through. Important booking information. Due to ongoing public health emergency, all reservations have been cancelled. We sincerely apologize. The notification banner cuts off there, and the surreal message makes Devin feel like they're isolated from the world now more than ever. He wonders if he should try to call the police, even though he still has only one bar. At this point, he'd be willing to just let the authorities know that they're stranded before anything else can happen. Oh, wait, that's right! That's actually really cool. They acknowledge COVID here. Because this takes place in the year 2020. That's actually really cool. Huh. Oh, yeah, it was the hotel, yeah. That's actually pretty cool. That's actually really cool how they kind of connect real life situations in here. Then something out of the corner of his eye catches his attention. It looks like the wall of a structure of some kind, beige and peeling, hard to see through all the leaves and branches. Devin holds up his paw in front of Cameron, signaling him to stay put before taking a few cautious steps further into the forest. He thinks it's a trailer, one that looks so run down that he wouldn't be surprised if it's abandoned. What unsettles him is that it's buried so deep behind the trees, it's meant to be hidden. He can try to make a call further down the road away from whatever that is. I'm here, no need to check on me. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna try to make a call on the road, but we're going straight. The look on Artie's face makes the bear pause. What? What the fuck? His voice is quiet, but his tone is one of confusion and shock, staring over Dev's shoulder. Devin feels dread creep over him, not sure how something else could be happening right now. Something so terrible that Artie has that look. Cameron stands where he left him. Oddly enough, he doesn't seem to be paying any attention to them. Honestly though, Arturo is definitely sexy. He mega hot. Like no cap there. He's staring straight up towards the trees and Devin can see his eyes darting from left to right. His ears are laying back and twitching like he's hearing something that's too loud. His breathing is heavy and Devin can see his chest heaving. He's panicking again, but the reason for it is clear. About a single second is all Dev has to see it and to hear it. Wait. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. And then it drops onto Cameron. Cameron is suffocating. Just moments ago he'd been gasping for breath, feeling the invisible dread creep up his back, the deafening static growing in his ears. But now it's completely black and something has its limbs around him, fingers over his mouth and his nostrils. He thrashes around, or at least he tries to. He goes through the motions, but there's no sensation of movement. A straining inhale of air drones right next to his ear, the thing pressing its head against the side of his face. Cameron begins to let go. He tries to call for help. Devin was in front of him only seconds ago. Or minutes. The voice in his head returns. Or hours. Or has it been years? It doesn't matter when you're dead. Cameron does think that he's died and that he's in hell because of the course he'd end up there. There is no hell. This is death. This is what happens to everyone, Cameron. Cameron realizes that it's not the thing that's holding on to him that's speaking to him. Because now when it starts to speak, but it's not a voice he expects. Oh my god. No, get away! A woman's voice. Stupid fucking cunt. Cheating whore. A man's voice, a sickening thud. The tone of the static changes and Cameron knows he's listening to something different. A different moment. He's dead. He can stop now. No, he's still twitching. And it continues. It sounds like someone screaming through a gag. A woman sobbing, a man begging. But then there's a shift and through most of the voices were women. They become almost exclusively young men. If you let me go, I won't tell anyone, I swear to God. No me mates, por favor. Stop, just stop. And the voices blend together and go on and on and on. Meanwhile, Cameron goes limp, giving up, feeling as one with the voice that comes next. Why don't you just kill me? Holy shit, dude. Devin watches as Cameron's body just goes limp, and though he tries to leap forward to catch him, the coyote slips to the ground at his feet. The bear instinctively picks him up, or tries to. Though it's something he'd done many times before, he'd never done it while Cameron was so completely lifeless, and he struggles with the coyote's dead weight. Cameron? Cameron! He lays the coyote on his back, hoping he just wakes up. What the fuck was that? Dude, what the hell was that thing? Whatever it was just seemed to absorb into Cameron, disappearing in an instant. Devin doesn't care. 2 days ago he would have thought he'd give almost anything to see something like that. Now it doesn't seem to matter at all. Cameron's chest had just been heaving seconds ago and isn't moving at all now. Oh fuck! Artie! He's not breathing, man, what do we do? Holy shit. Maybe chest compressions, right? Right? The panic is threatening to overwhelm the bear, his peripheral vision dimming, going dark, and he has to rest a paw next to Cameron's head to steady himself. He can't pass out now, otherwise Cameron would only have Artie to help him, and the cat is seemingly frozen, his fingers twisting into his head fur. Why is this even happening? Why would he just stop breathing? Devin tries to tilt Cameron's head back, straighten his torso so he can breathe. Come on, breathe, Cam! Just breathe, please! Devin rubs at Cameron's chest. It's such a desperate, useless gesture. Do you know how to do CPR? No! Dev readies himself, wishing he could remember a single useful thing from one day he learned about CPR in high school. All he remembers is tittering with his classmates about the female mannequin's chest and how they had to touch it. His vision blurs as he uselessly places his paws one over the other on Cameron's chest. Then a droning, ragged wheeze comes from the coyote's mouth. Oh my god, Cam! Another labored wheeze. Hey, he's breathing! He's breathing, right? That's right, Cam. Keep going, baby. He is, but it's still strained, like something heavy is on his chest. Not sure of what to do, Devin pulls Cameron into a sitting position, leaning the coyote against his body, and Cameron gasps. Oh, thank fucking god, just keep breathing like that, honey. Yes! Even Artie's crying, wiping his eyes as he laughs. But what just attacked him? You saw that thing, right? Or am I crazy? Devin shakes his head. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Wait, so they did see that too? It's not just Cameron that's seeing this now, it's both of them. Now Devin just needs Cameron to regain consciousness so he knows that he's okay for sure. Never had he seen evidence of or believed that the supernatural could physically harm the living. Let's get out of this forest, dude, in case it comes back. Yeah. Yeah, alright. He's very careful with how he moves Cameron, terrified that his breathing might stop again. But as he stands, cradling Cameron in his arms, he looks up. Standing 20 feet away towards that trailer is another. No, it is him! He's holding a shotgun. Devin stares, feeling himself become oddly detached from the situation. His mind is still overwhelmed with what just happened to Cameron. That's what he wants to focus on, but the shotgun has his attention now, and for that moment, Devin thinks just about just running. If he applies logic to the situation, he assumes the other bear won't shoot, but something in his eyes. Something's off. So Devin says what he hopes will make it clear to the other bear that they're not a threat. We need help. We're stranded and our friend is unconscious. No, that's not someone we want to be with, dude. The old-looking bear refocuses him for several seconds. Devin hears the rustling of dead leaves and foliage next to him as Arturo moves. Suddenly, the bear swings the shotgun around to point at Devin's right. Don't you move, boy. Hey, I'm sorry, don't shoot. Arturo sounds terrified, his voice strained and high-pitched. The old bear stares at Artie for several seconds before pointing the shotgun towards the ground, but only slightly. The bear gestures at the coyote. You doing something to him? What? Doing something? No, we were just trying to help him. Something attacked him. We need to get him help. The older bear grimaces. What do you mean, something? Dev hesitates, or at least until the gun is shifted in his direction. No, wait! I'm not waiting. You show up at my property making all kinds of sounds, and you're standing there with a knocked out yote. Hey, we didn't do anything to him. We're trying to help. The bear growls. I don't care if you're trying to help him or trying to fuck him. I want to know the truth, not that something happened. The standoff continues for a few more seconds before Debs jumps in again. It was something dark, like a shadow. I called it something because I didn't get a chance to see it, but it jumped on him and disappeared. Devin realizes what he's saying as he says it, and half expects to be shot for saying something so stupid. I swear to God, that's what happened. The old bear's eyes flick to Artie, and the cat quickly throws his support behind the ridiculous statement. Yeah, that's what happened. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was there. It was dark and had red eyes or some shit. I don't even think we should be out here right now. Devin once again wants to tell Artie to shut up, saying that more is only going to make the situation worse. But instead of getting angry again, an odd expression comes over the other bear's face, one that Devin can't quite decipher. Then he finally speaks, casually bringing the shotgun up to rest over his shoulder. And it jumped on him? That yote there? Yeah. Alrighty, so I'm guessing y'all are on some drugs or some shit. No! Using out in the heat ain't ever a smart idea. We weren't... Devin trails off, realizing this doesn't matter at all right now. We need to get him help. He's not waking up. Devin kneels, resting Cameron on the ground as he half props him up, needing to rest his tiring arms. There's a pause in which the other bear just stares down at them, a pause that's long enough that Dev opens his mouth to speak again. That's finally when the older bear seems to break out of his trance. No, 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 it is him. No, 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 we need to get the fuck out. If you don't know who that is, Chad, um, back in Echo, the game before this is Brian. He is a sadistic fuck. And he tied our main character, Chase from the last story, he tied him up and tortured him for days. And then in Jenna's route, he kidnapped Carl, tortured him for days, and then he stitched Chase and Leo's legs together, and then he had Micah up hanging with a rope with steel cutters. This is not the person we want to be with right now. And this guy gets a hard on for that. Shit, of course. Sorry about the gun and all, it's just that I always get a bunch of coots on my property every now and then. Devin looks up suddenly at the friendly bear. In the back of his mind, he can almost hear sirens. Very familiar sirens. Ah, shit's not even loaded. The bear grunts as he brings the shotgun forward, pointing it back towards the ground before it seems to break in half as the stock suddenly drops down. The bird turns to show them that the barrels are empty. That actually does make Devin feel a bit better, even if the gun had been pointed at him just minutes ago. The bear then closes it with a snap. So I think your best bet is to call the proper authorities so they can get some help out here. Do you know how we can do that? There's no service here. Course there ain't, but there's a service just outside of town to the east. Works whenever I go out there to make a call. Yeah, he's being too nice. This is very odd. Dev's heart leaps in his chest at the idea that there might actually be a quick way out of this situation. He looks in an eastward direction, ready to set off immediately. Hold on, it's a little ways out there. It's a pretty specific spot. I can give you a quick ride, no more than 5 minutes. I don't think we should trust him. That's... The old bear turns away and starts making his way toward the trailer. No, dude, we do not want Brian to be here with us. Artie glances at him, clearly uneasy about all of this. Dev is hesitant himself because of course he would be. Anyone would be. But after everything they've been through, Devin looks down at Cameron, the coyote still breathing steadily, now looking almost peaceful. Still, fear grips at the bear's chest. The fact that Cameron still isn't waking up, slowly increasing his worry to the point of panic again. So he sets his jaw and follows the old bear. He half expects Artie not to follow, but he does, and the four of them disappear further into the trees. No, dude. No, why are we following him? Cameron's agony had seemed as if it might last forever, the feeling of suffocation going on and on, but after an immeasurable amount of time the fingers over his mouth and nostrils had dissolved into the blackness. So did the voices, diminished into the indistinguishable whispers. Now his breath's coming slowly and steadily, but he has to focus on them to consciously inhale and exhale so it won't stop. While the experience is terrifying, the laborious nature of it is almost ensures that he won't hyperventilate. After a time, the terror fades into a dull, hollow desperation accompanied by spurts of panic each time he remembers he's somewhere he doesn't understand, and that can't seem to escape it. Then gradually, even that dissolves, and like a dream within a dream, it fades away. Oh jeez, what is this? Cameron's vision is blurry at first, and it stays that way as his eyes remain mostly closed, unfocused. Fear hitches in his chest again before he realizes he's been breathing normally without the need to focus it. That's when he notices what he can see is a bit odd. Looks kind of like... That's the mirror. Aw, that's the fucking mirror. That's the mirror where we saw the creepy chase... Where we saw the creepy shadow chase shit in Leo's route. Like himself. Cameron stares, still feeling groggy and out of it, trying to make sense of what he's seeing. It's him, his reflection, but hard to understand why the case is... Because it feels like he's laying down. At first the coyote wonders if maybe this is the floor mirror in the bathroom and he'd passed out. Still, the angle is wrong, and that just leaves Cameron feeling more confused. The coyote closes his eyes again, trying to remember what happened last. He also begins to wonder why he's laying on something soft instead of the cold tile of the bathroom. Nothing makes sense. So does the only thing he can think to do at this moment. Dev? He hears something shift around next to him. Cameron tries to clear his throat, but it's bone dry, so he swallows instead. Dev! Shit. Something's pressing to his lips, and sensing that it's water, Cameron drinks, getting several shallows before it's pulled away. Cameron then looks around, getting a full view of his surroundings. The voice hadn't sounded like Dev's, but Cameron can't imagine who else it could be. And a large furry... Oh my... Oh my god, there he is! Wait, where's the other two? Yeah, it looks a lot cleaner than it did in Echo, but still. Cameron stares, at first wondering what could have possibly happened to Dev, but he realizes what stupid thought that is. This is a different bear altogether. He also realizes that something's definitely wrong. Either he's still dreaming or that he's in a situation that he can't even begin to understand. He quickly sits up and the old bear raises a paw. Hey, it's alright, kid. I'm here to help ya. No, this is not a bear that you want to screw with. This is not the bear. Hey, kid, it's alright. I'm here to help ya. The voice is higher pitched than he would have expected from such a large creature, and the coyote feels like he's heard it before, but he can't place it. Not right now, at least. I'm Brian, what a... No. I mean, if this is a good Brian arc, then hopefully that's the case, but from what we saw in the intro, I don't think so. Cameron. Cameron responds automatically, even though it's a smaller voice in the back of his head that tells him this isn't right. None of this is right. Well, hi there, Cameron. You're probably wondering where the hell you are, huh? While the bear's demeanor is friendly, though, his appearance definitely isn't. Again, Cameron desperately tries to remember exactly what happened last and where exactly he might be. He nods anyway, instinctively trying to keep up the facade that he's fine, and that he doesn't suspect that everything is wrong. It's a funny story, but I heard some shouting outside, and when I went out there I found you and your friends. You were unconscious, of course. Dev? Was he a bear? Cameron looks around hopefully, as if Dev might be there with them. It's only then he realizes they're in a trailer, and the fragments of what happened recently start to come back to him. It leaves him with the feeling all the more uneasy. Yeah, a bear like myself, and there was a cat too. Artie. The memories of the past day and a half come back to the coyote slowly, and with it comes a feeling of anxiety and dread. Either he's in trouble or he was in trouble, and somehow this bear is here trying to help him. Well, I didn't get his name, he just ran off as I was getting there. Where's Dev? The bear, I mean, is he here? Yeah, about that. The bear shifts around on the bed he's sitting on, making the spring squeak. What happened is after the cat ran off and you were unconscious, your bear friend, Devin, right? You decided to make a run for the highway to get you help. I don't believe that for a fucking second. I don't believe that at all. Cameron stays quiet as he tries to absorb that. The bear's sentence makes sense technically, but at the same time it's confusing. Why would Devin leave him here alone with this bear? Now Cameron remembers they were on a trip of some kind, a trip to Echo. The voice, the trailer. Cameron starts looking around again, trying to spot a shotgun, because he's now starting to realize who this might be. I don't... He comes up short at a complete loss. What he wants to say is that he wants to see Dev, but if what the bear said is true, then that won't be possible. Does Devin know I'm here? Of course he does. Seemed real worried about you. He said he would have the cat get help, but we're not sure where he ran off to. Why'd he run? Well... Brian pauses, seeming to think back, also seeming hesitant to say something. He probably shot them, is what I'm probably getting. Cameron tenses up, the feeling of wrongness returning. It's kind of hard to explain, but something spooked him. Calling the events of the past few days seemed to gain momentum, and now he can vaguely remember what just happened before he ended up here. He was standing in the forest, ears down, hearing that awful static. What happened after is still a bit foggy. What was it? Well, this might sound a bit crazy, but I've lived here a good while, and sometimes there's this thing in the trees that comes after me. A thing? What an odd thing to say. But then he remembered something strange right before he lost consciousness. A dark shadow dropping on top of him before he disappeared into another world, locked in that terrible embrace. A shadow. Although he says it softly, the bear hears him. I'm just gonna tell you right now, Batham, this is not a bear you want to be with. I am going to tell you right now. Cameron swallows hard, still feeling like the situation is very off, even when considering the circumstances. But Brian smiles in a way that's almost sympathetic. Did it happen to sound like static? White noise? Cameron looks at the bear carefully before he nods. Yep, I've seen it myself. Some of us can just see things that others can't. Cameron swallows loudly. You see things too? Yeah, I always could. Don't know why. Through all the confusion and terror, and of all the people, this bear seems to understand what Cameron is going through somehow. It creates in him a sudden sense of kinship with the bear. Then Cameron remembers his phone, quickly pulling it out and holding down the power button. The screen flickers on for just a moment before multiple vertical lines of black appear on the screen, which widen steadily before the entire display goes black. Cameron is confused and remembers the fall into the... Oh no! His phone is water damaged! Shit! Brian grunts. Your phone's busted? Shame. There's no service out here anyway. How long ago did he leave? About 2-3 hours ago. He'd been unconscious for that long? Still, the anxiety is telling Cameron to move, to go. I think I should go after him. Thanks for your help, though. Cameron suddenly stands, but a wave of dizziness comes over him. Oh, fuck! The coyote catches himself against the wall, feeling weak and confused. Whoa there, kid. I don't think you're in the best condition to go out there. You might pass out again, and that bear seemed real intent on me keeping you safe. Cameron has to lean against the wall slightly, catching his breath. This is so manipulative, dude. There is no fucking way in hell this guy is trying to help us. He didn't realize that he's still messed up. It makes sense since he's been out for so long. It's just odd that he seems to be getting worse. Whatever that creature did to him, it felt serious. As if reading his thoughts, the bear brings up the entity. Besides, I don't think you should go out there while that shadow creature's still hanging around. Been seeing it through the window a few times. Don't want to scare you, but I think it wants you. Cameron glances up at the window nearest to them. Instead of the shadow, he's surprised to see Raincoat Monster just beyond the trees, partially hidden in a strange crouching position. Stranger still are the odd shivering, twitching motions the creature is making. Though its face is mostly hidden, Cameron can tell he's being looked at. Even after everything he's been through, the coyote finds himself lowering his gaze quickly. Once again, just like when he was 8 years old, he's afraid of this hallucination. Rather, he's afraid of the imitation of the hallucination, and considering that it's moving so violently, that's what this is. You see it? No, I mean, it's something else. Oh? What is it? Sometimes I see other really disturbing stuff in those woods. Well, most of this place in this town, actually. It's something more personal. Cameron is caught between wanting to stay cautious of this man, but also wanting to confide in him. After the trauma of the past 2 days combined with feeling almost abandoned by his boyfriend, the coyote is desperate for some kind of connection. What kinds of things do you see? Brian looks hesitant. Don't want to freak you out more than you already are. I'm okay. I'm just wondering if maybe we see similar things. Cameron smiles at him, and that seems to throw the bear off for some reason. Huh. Well... Then he seems to snap out of it. To be honest, I see people getting killed usually. Not sure if it's real from like the past or if it ain't. Sometimes it just feels like something being made up. Cameron can understand that feeling. Yeah, another wave of weakness and exhaustion. Sorry, I'm still really tired. Cameron slides down the wall to sit again, still feeling out of it. But at least he feels somewhat comfortable with this bear now. Makes sense after what you went through. Want my bed? I'm good. I just need to catch my breath. He's not quite that comfortable with them. This is gonna sound weird too, but I see a ton of stuff in this town, and sometimes it feels made up. Like, I saw a UFO, like an alien spaceship above a dead body today. Brian stares at Cameron. I see. Just as he was beginning to feel uncomfortable, the coyote feels himself back on edge. Did he say something wrong? That's probably what we saw in the intro too. Because we were kneeling over that kid that Brian killed, and then he saw the UFO. That's probably him. I mean, I don't know if it was a UFO, but it looked. You're fine, kid. It's just that I haven't known anyone else that's seen something that I've seen too. I was on that dirt road, right? Circular shape with a bunch of red lights on it. Cameron perks up. There's a little question in his mind now that this bear is definitely like him. Yeah, yeah, and like, shit, when did that space shuttle explode? Like the mid 80s, I think? This time, Brian lets out a little laugh of surprise and maybe a little disbelief as well. 86 to be exact. Damn, that's crazy. I met a few people like you, but you're on a whole new level, kid. Cameron stares back, briefly wondering if he's still dreaming all of this. It's almost too jarring trying to understand how he ended up here with this bear, but if it's a dream, it's not the worst one. Can you help me find Devin? Maybe you could take me up to the road with the highway and we could catch up to him. The bear leans back, scratching his head. I don't know about that, kid. He took off at a good pace, and I'll bet you he's probably already reached the highway by now. Probably in the process of alerting the authorities. Cameron twists the hem of his shirt in his paws, feeling a sickening growing knot of worry in the pit of his stomach. He just wants to go to run and find Dev and escape the town with him, but the threat of what's out there is very real, and Cameron knows he does not want a repeat of what happened out there in the forest. And apparently Dev has already escaped without him. It makes sense why he had to leave him behind, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. I don't think so, no. I don't think it's Amicus, dude. Only now are the memories of what happened during his blackout returning, and only now does he remember how it felt like being in hell. Can that shadow creature get in here? No, it seems to avoid the trailer. Don't know why. Are you okay? Cameron rubs his eyes with both paws. I don't know. His increasingly heavy breaths prompts Brian to crouch in front of him, patting his shoulder roughly. Hey, you're fine. I'll make you something, okay? How does some tea sound? That always calms me down. Pats jolt the coyote back to wakefulness, and he nods only to get the bear to focus on something other than him. Okay. Great, I'll get started on it then. Just relax for now. Oh god, where is this? The wind whips violently in Devin's face. It's powerful enough that he can barely breathe. The ominous sound of the sirens were really the only thing that guaranteed he'd be home as soon as he possibly could be. He always took the warning seriously because what they warned of always terrified him. Yeah, that's a tornado siren. So now in this haze of pain and horror, he wonders why he didn't heed the warnings. The mile-wide tornadoes that rip across the plains of his home state evoke a primal fear in him that few other things do. He'd felt that fear moments before his world became a red flash of pain, before he saw Artie crumple lifeless to the ground at the same time a pop echoed through the air, before he was made to drink from the plastic bottle of water the other bear had brought out of his trailer, before his paws were tightly bound above his head. He killed him! He killed Artie! Oh my god, he killed Artie! As Devin briefly comes into the red glow of this metal container that he's in, the sound of the metal chains and feeling of cramped heat, he knows he should be doing something. He should be helping someone, something deeply he cares about. Lupita, Artie, Cameron. 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 His voice is rough, dry on the verge of breaking. His chest feels as if it's being crushed. Devin sinks back into the darkness, even while his mind rolls in terror. I don't think so, because it says that once the pop went off, then Artie went on the ground lifeless. That's not a good thing! Even as the F5 tornado continues to barrel right toward him. Cameron sits on the table as the bear busies himself near the stovetop with the back to his... Okay, so we're gonna leave it here. But wow. That was seriously a lot to take in. So I think I'm gonna end it right here.
Thank you all so much. It's been a real pleasure playing this episode of Echo with y'all. Very excited to see what happens next. Take care, everybody, and have a good night. Bye-bye.